This is Angela Castillo. I am with Busy Moms Books, and my co-author Jamie Foley and I have written over 50 books, both together and separately, for children and adults and teens and everything you could think of. And today I want to talk to you about when you want to write a picture book. A picture book, as you probably know, if you've done any research, is quite a large undertaking. It can get very expensive. And so I want to talk to you about the first thing you need to do when you've decided to write a picture book, maybe even before you've scribbled the idea down or written the story. Now, you can use this at any time in the process of having a picture book, even if you already have one published. But this is definitely something to do at the very beginning. And even if you have one picture book published, maybe you have one published already and it hasn't done so well, and you'd really like to have a better start with your next one, this is just something to keep in mind. So when you're going to write a picture book, we've talked about this before. We've talked about the difference between a passion project and a for-profit project. Now, you can write any book you want. You can write a book, you can spend tons of money on it and not make a penny back if that's okay with you. And I don't care. I'm not going to tell you not to write whatever book's in your heart and spend tons of money and have it out there in the wild and have joy and fun from it. And you do you if that's what you want. This is just if you have decided that you would like to try to make some money from your book. Now, I'm also not going to promise you that anything I say is going to make you a sudden millionaire with your books. The sad truth is when you independently publish a book, a lot of times you are doing very, very well to break even. And you absolutely can make a profit. You can fund your book. You can pay for your book with sales. It absolutely can happen. I have done that with every single one of my books, and you can do it. It does take some time and effort. Now, this first step that you should take with your picture book if you want to make a profit. Now, it does take a little bit of effort. And this does have to do with marketing. Now, who wants to market? If you're creative, you probably don't like marketing. You probably want to spend all your time thinking about your wonderful book and what you're going to write and your characters and who you're going to have illustrated and all of those things. You don't want to think about marketing. It takes time and effort and logistics and math and things that you just don't want to think about. But if you want to make sales, you do have to think about marketing. It is the way of the world. It's not pleasant, but it is the way. So this is the first step to marketing. And the most interesting thing about it is that it happens before you even finish your book. Maybe even before you start writing your book. So basically what you need to do is, just to get started, is you get out a notebook and a pen, or you can get out your phone and type in on a memo. I don't know, whatever you want to do to keep your notes and keep all your stuff together. And you write down the title of your book. Now, you may not have a complete title yet, but you could put in a working title for now if you haven't completely thought of your title yet. So write down your title of your book and then write down the subject of your book. So let's say your book is Gregory and the Bullies. So then you're going to write down the title, and then you're going to write down child is bullied at school because he has braces or whatever reason the child is being bullied. So put that down next underneath your title. And then you're going to want to put down some keywords like school problems, bullying, uniqueness, braces, whatever your book touches on, the main subjects of your book, you're going to want to put that down. You might even put, now, if your character is a dinosaur, then Gregory the dinosaur is being bullied for his braces. So put that down, that it's a dinosaur character. So put down all these different subjects. Okay, so now you have all of this written out. What you're going to want to do is go to Amazon. Now, you might want to do this on Goodreads as well, simply because, unbelievably, not every book is available on Amazon. Some people have published with different publishers that don't always offer their books on Amazon. So, I mean, if you really want to be thorough, you can even Google this, but I would just go with Amazon and Goodreads and not worry about anything else. So basically what you want to do is you want to go do a search for your title. Put it in up at the top at the Amazon search bars and make sure there's not another book with exactly the same title. Now, if you find a book with exactly the same title, you may not have to worry about it. There are going to be books with the same title. It just happens. It's the way it goes. But you definitely want to look and make sure that that book is completely different from your book. It's not nearly the same or very close to being the same book. For one thing, if it's a book written by a large author, you know, a popular author for a large publishing company, you could be dealing with infringement issues. That could happen. Also, you don't want to deal with just having a very similar copycat book out there on the market. People will get confused, and they might confuse your book for the other author's book. We have a situation that I've heard of recently where there were two books named the same thing, titled the same thing, and one of them had very explicit material in it, and the other one didn't. And so kids in middle grade were reading this other book with very explicit content. And so we don't want any confusion. One of my big things that I always say is confusion leads to fewer sales every time. Every time. So you want to make sure that there's not a title, there's not a book exactly like your idea out there. And so then what you want to do is plug in that subject. So look up the subject and do the same thing. Make sure there aren't any books with almost exactly the same concept and idea as yours. Now, there are going to be 50 books on bullying at least. There's going to be a lot. As long as you have a new way to address bullying, to address the situation, then that's fine. It's okay if you have a book about something that there's already a book about. As long as it's different. As long as there's a fresh approach to it, it's fine. So then what you're going to do is you're going to do the same thing with the keywords. Plug them in. Look and make sure that there's not another book exactly like yours. You may need to do a little bit more in-depth research. So as you find these books, you may need to use look at the blurbs. Look at the look inside feature. You might even want access to the whole book. So you might get a subscription to Kindle Unlimited. A lot of books are on Kindle Unlimited, and then you can look at several books at a time for $9.99 a month. If it really gets in depth, you might want to buy the books, the paperback versions of the books, but that is really extreme. I think most of the time you can get the information you need just by looking at the blurbs and the see inside features on Amazon. So now that you've made sure there isn't another book exactly like yours or super duper close to yours, that you're going to step on somebody else's toes and write the same book over again, now you want to go down below books that are similar to yours. Find the book that's the most similar to yours and look down at the categories. So they're going to have these highlighted categories. It might be 500, 782, 50 million in school issues, or 5,622 in bullying. And you're going to click on the one that looks the most like what your book's going to be about. And then look at those top 50 books. Amazon's going to have the top 50 books in that subject. And count how many books in that, like school issues, say, how many books are about bullying. You may if there's 10 books on bullying in that top 50 or top 100, or even 5 books on bullying in that top 100, then you have found a great subject to write about, because it's something a lot of people are wanting books about and information about. And if you have a fresh approach to it, that's even better, because it's going to be specific to what certain people want, like braces. It's exactly about braces. Their child's being bullied about braces. It's hitting the need they need exactly where they need it. Now, if you don't see a whole lot of books in that top 50 or 100 on your subject, that's okay. You may be reaching a need that doesn't have a book for it yet. Now, this can be great. You could just hit it just at the right time to catch that trend, or it might be a little more challenging because it might be something not a whole lot of people are looking for books about. But you get the word out there and they may realize it's something they didn't realize they needed. So there are several ways to look at that. Several advantages to getting a book written that doesn't have a whole lot of books in the category, but is a need. That's what we're trying to do. We are trying to figure out books that there's not a whole lot about, but it's filling a need, a timely, trending need. So, for example, I realized, now this is for an adult book, not a kid's book, but I realized there were no books called steampunk fairy tales, titled that, none. And so I got a group of authors to go in with me and create a series of steampunk fairy tales, and we called it that in the title. So it's the first book that pops up on Amazon when you type in steampunk fairy tales. And we have created a best-selling series because we filled a need that did not exist on Amazon. There were other steampunk fairy tale books, but not any titled steampunk fairy tales. So that's an example of how you can create a book for a need, to fill a need. And also to make sure that you have not reinvented the wheel and rewritten a book that's already been written. You don't want to do that. So I hope this is helpful information. I hope you have a great writing day. And please like and subscribe for more helpful information about your writing journey. Have a great day. Bye.